Have a great day if it's a daytime. Just wanted to say namaste. Post once again why I'm doing this show and why I'm doing the content that I am. So I've begun hearing a little bit of slack while on LinkedIn. I've even been called white trash and that I'm boasting a symbol of a beast. You can say whatever you'd like. It means nothing to me. As far as the reasons I've been doing this show and why it took a year to come about before I even began is because I became a Freemason out of the state of California, and what I learned with the bit of platform that I've held, I wanted to do something that could help our fraternity and dispel some negativity. Now, as far as the way I look, you can call me white trash all you'd like. As far as putting my cape in there, I did one with a cape on. Hey man, I don't care if you like it or not. Right now I'm in a place on the planet that's got a lot of cold weather, snow. I've even shown you outside. It's blistering. But that's something I chose to put on because it's warm. And I wanted to show you guys my new cape that I'm pretty proud of. I think it's awesome. I don't care if you call that white trash. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care if you think I'm breaking any rules or obligations or like that I haven't quite fully understood what's going on within our oath. I do. And everyone that I've encountered within my lodge and from Grand Lodge that's come down to see it and everything have all stated, oh, I get it, to say the very least to me. And this moment to you. I've heard so much about how I fully comprehend what's going on. But you should also be able to comprehend what's going on as well. We're moving forth in a digital age. We're going online as Masons who are proud to say that you're a Mason. And you shouldn't have to, conceal any of that as well. If you're a Mason and you're proud and you want to go as far as wearing a ring, whatever you want, you shouldn't have to hide that from people just because you've taken an obligation not to conceal or reveal. If you're a proud Mason, you're gonna want to show it. And that's why they have companies making these things and making money off of these things. I don't see what the problem is. Now, as far as reading from the candidate's guide, for all 3 degrees, entered fellow master. I'm reading other materials as well. This show is, God bless Freemasonry. It is the quantum mechanics of enlightenment and Freemasonry. It's also about my life being an actor in the entertainment industry through Hollywood for over a decade, hoping that maybe I might be the one to help and try and dispel a lot of negativity that really doesn't need to be. I don't see a problem in that. I'm not sitting here boasting or reading anything that we have in our ciphers. Now, I've told you all along from the very beginning, there's materials that I'm allowed to cover, and there are materials that I'm not allowed to cover. The cipher is what I'm not allowed to cover. Anything in English, I am allowed to use for the benefit of our fraternity and our craft, however you'd like to state it. And I don't need to be in here dressed full-on suit with my hair cut above my ears. It doesn't matter what I'm wearing, what I'm talking about, or whatever. If it were about me, and only me, but it's not. It's about this show. This show is also meant to be a person just saying, hey, look, dude, I'm a Mason. Here's all my stuff that I've got. I can show you. I am a Mason. I'm not just pretending. I didn't go out and buy something off eBay and say, hey, look, I'm a Mason. I've actually learned this material. And I'm proud of it. And being on the D list, I might be able to gain a few more people looking at it, or looking at it differently. And the whole entire thing throughout the year of planning this with my coach and my lodge and everything was and is and always will be about bettering the perceptions and people's minds about what we do, what we learn, who we are, and who we're not. Where's your problem? Yes, I've taken an oath not to conceal and reveal and, or, you know what I mean, right? But at the same time, dude, like, anything that you find that is in English, you're allowed to use. I'm posting it online because that's the wave of this future with the human race. And we as a fraternity need to either get on board or die. And I'd like to also see numbers eventually start to rise without asking anyone, hey, would you like to join? Because it's not something I do. When it comes to ask one to be one, I've been one for a long time. Not so much now, but ever since I started doing the show, but I mean up until letting people know, hey, you know what? Ask someone in your area, Google a lodge, find out the nearest one, and go from there. Don't ask me, dude. But that's going against my obligation, isn't it? What's in English is acceptable if your family picks it up and starts reading. Your friends, your fans. I might look like white trash to you. That's your own opinion, dude. Has nothing to do with me. It has no bearing on me in my life. I will look the way I want to look. I will dress the way I want to dress. I'll have hair. If I find out I'm not going bald after 40 and my dad went bald in his 20s. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Now that I'm 40 and I always wanted long hair And every single time you bribed me to cut it while I was growing up, I'm 40 now and I'm not going bald like you were in your 20s. And you know what? I'm going to grow my hair whether anybody likes it or not. That's not meant to be a reflection on this fraternity, the way I look. I'm not the face of Masonry, and I've said that. No one is. There's no such thing as a face of Freemasonry. But yet you're coming at me that I'm white trash and something about boasting an image of a beast. I'm not really too sure what you're talking about. I mean, apparently if you've seen my show, I'm not sitting here going on and on and on like Satan and Masonry in the same sentence, like it's praising both at the same time. I think if somebody's going to make some comments about me or about the show, you need to show me that you're actually watching it, rather than just being a typical person running your mouth for no reason. Again, I've been an entertainer for 12 years now in Hollywood. I came to Freemasonry in 2014. And along the way, after going through my degrees, I wanted to try and help. I have been over this with my lodge and with my coach and everything, and like, there's no problem, dude. The problem is only with you. I'm not breaking any part of my obligations by trying to help dispel negativity about what we learn and who we are and who we're not. If you Google, if you sit there and play around on YouTube, it's getting better. But it wasn't like that in the very beginning, even when I started my show. I've been doing the show just about a year, and it's getting better in the last year. It probably has nothing to do with me. I'd like to say that it doesn't. But I'd also like to say that everything that I'm going over and putting in these videos, maybe somewhere along the way, it might help. Use my platform, dude. Use it for our benefit. I'm not just like some Jane Doe from Alabama. You know, I can't really come up with an example off my head. I've established myself as an entertainer in Hollywood for over a decade. Maybe I could be viewed a few more times than somebody like that Jane Doe from Minnesota or something, you know? These shows here, these episodes, they're meant to be one-on-one. They're not meant to be sitting in a classroom with a whole bunch of people and a podium. They're not meant to be, you know, high-end, multi-billion-dollar budget productions. Numbers way off. You get my gist. This is just a man who does happen to have a little bit of platform, talking about something he's proud of, and that I don't understand why so with the negativity. I've been telling all along, I can't read the cipher, which is kind of like in a Masonic language. if you want to look at it like it's another language. And it's not. But that I was told not to use. Don't cover that. Don't use that. Keep that out. Everything else that's in English, you're good, dude. Use that. I don't really care. If you, as a Mason, feel as though I'm breaking an oath or disrespecting our craft, because if you actually watch the show, I'm not. If you actually watch this show, you'll see I'm trying to help. And that if I can get a few more people to watch this because I am on a platform that other people are not, then go ahead and run it up. I am actually promoting Masonry in positive light. My white trash look and all. And I don't know where you come up with the comment about a beast. I mean, I'm just like, sure, dude. Why? Because I listen to heavy metal my entire life and I'm dressing like Metal Star? I mean, like, what do you want me to say, dude? This is who I am. Could it be the black nails? Maybe I ought to watch one of the other videos I've done and find out why. It doesn't bother me that you think I look like white trash. I'm probably gonna look at you as white trash. Because me as a human being, if I think that's the way you're looking at me, then I'm gonna end up looking at you the same way. But yet, doing this show, if you've seen an episode, and I'm guessing you haven't, I'm doing everything okay. I'm trying to help. This isn't just about me. I was going to say Freemasonry and Masonry at the same time. It's also about enlightenment, dude. Covering all kinds of materials that have been throughout the human race. And then in the end as well, piece those together through Masonry. To show people in the end little things in their daily lives that are Masonic that they don't even realize. Little things about the way they live that are also Masonic. Their beliefs, things that they've grown up hearing. There was only a couple videos that were positive when I came to Freemasonry. But it might be me as a New Yorker, originally, having that, you know what, whatever. And I was able to see through it. Enough to go to a lodge and become a Mason myself. Do you know I went looking for videos like this before I became a Freemason? I specifically looked and asked. And there's only so many times you can watch the same couple videos. Now I myself have added like what, 160 of them? Go back and watch them. Understand everything that I'm saying as far as barely scratching the surface. Point out to me where I'm breaking my obligations. If you are in California, you've been told the same things I have. People are allowed to see what's English, just not what's in cipher. And that's okay. Now imagine you've been an entertainer 12 years now, and you'd like to help. What would you like me to do? Be an entertainer and say, no, you help me instead? No. Because that's not who I am. And that's not being a Mason. You want to help your brothers. You want to help the craft. You want to help it continue on for centuries more. You want to spread anything you can Masonically in a positive light. Because there's no real face. But if you're not living under a rock, you are somebody else's face. And while some dude thinks I look like white trash, dude, I really don't care. Again, like the whole beast thing, or like, why? I mean, like, where do you get that? Is it because I was wearing a Motley Crue shirt? Or a cape or something? Is it because I showed a symbol on my ring called a square and compass? Or is it just because you want to pretend and it helps you a little further? If you watch another video, I think I've talked about you. The content of this show, it took me a year with my coach, my lodge, and everything, and like going through Grand, to not come up with the content as much as I've already had it, but to discuss what would be, how this show would be, how this show would turn out and up. You know, my coach, when I called him and I asked one day, not about stuff that I would go over with Masonry, but on other things that will end up leading to, and you can translate to, such as alchemy. And I'm like, it does fall under with enlightenment and so on. So, in sitting there on the phone, my coach, I learned a little more, got all excited because I explained to him how I want that to turn out and how I can go and translate alchemy into anatomy and into Masonry. I'm starting in the center, doing videos all the way around kind of deal, and then stretching out further. So I've got multiple topics to start off from. And I've barely scratched the surface. It's not breaking an obligation to say something in English. But it is, if you have platform, able to be used for the benefit of our fraternity and advancing our fraternity another couple thousand years. If you look at when I started this show, how much content was online about Masonry, you can pretty much do some math that maybe 95 to 98% of all the garbage that is online was to slander, not help. I took all that time, like mapping everything out. Tons of notebooks on notes, and that I weeded down to a couple notebooks on notes on how I wanted it to be and what I would cover. And to go about it in the most efficient, effective way for being positive. Because I went to my lodge and my coach and I asked, I've been able to do this all these years and build up a little bit of a platform myself, for myself. How can I help? And it took a long time before coming up with the idea to do this show, because we kept going over how I can help. Now, originally when I had been asking, how can I help our fraternity? They wanted to use artwork, because I grew up an art major. I wanted to help further. I'm an entertainer. I'm not an A-list, but I've got D-list. And that's in Hollywood, California, and we're not talking about Mississippi. You know, I mean, like, I've got a bit of a platform. How can I help? Use me. And I'm quite proud of how it all transpired, because I had my coach and my lodge involved. Mostly my coach, because I talked to my coach a lot. Now, he did ask I take down the video that I did about my Masonic coach, because he was afraid that people would come and find him. Not that he's not proud of being a Mason, because he is. He's been a Mason longer than I've been alive. But because of the scary situations I've had with being an entertainer, he was worried that they would come and find. And I get it. My look has nothing to do with the show. It's because I'm now 40 and I grew up a metalhead guitar player. So what, dude? We come from all walks of life. Not all of them are white. So why would you care to say something about my appearance? Being that I'm doing this on a one-on-one level, it's not meant to be a classroom type experience, so that it would be a little more effective. at reaching someone that is slamming and that doesn't want to hear what we have to say and is going to call us liars, even if we tell them the truth. Just because I'm a Mason and I'm doing a show about Masonry doesn't mean I need to go out and get a haircut, strap on a suit, do full-on regalia or anything else, man. When it's about a one-on-one experience with someone, trying to be all like, hey dude, seriously? Who cares what I look like? And I'm not gonna sit here and cut my hair again. I mean, honestly, I got a bad haircut last year. I just turned 40 this year. My father went bald in his early 20s. He hated my hair because he was going bald, man. And I was a metalhead and I just wanted my hair, so he'd bribe me all the time. But I even told him, dude, I'm like, hey, you know, if I find out that I'm not going bald, man, and this is just seriously a bad haircut, and I'm not going bald in that spot, you know, if it turns out it was a bad haircut, I'm growing my hair out, man. I mean, I've always wanted my hair. I'm a metalhead guitar player, 80s metal. It was a bad haircut. So I'm growing my hair out. Now, as a teenager, I always wanted my hair all one length down to my knees. I ended up giving myself some bangs after watching a bunch of videos that are new, even, on David Coverdale of Whitesnake. Rudy Sarso. Love my Rudy. And Vince Neil. I love Molly Crew. If you watch the videos, you might maybe learn that. As far as these, move the rings. Okay, as far as that, maybe you should watch a video and find out why I do that. And while I just said that and pointed that out, give me a second. My best friend of over 20 years in the military, longer not knowing him, but wanted me to help. He's since passed. And that's the least I can do. Pop back in that video and find out why. I've got a couple on him. Now, eventually, when I can get to becoming a Shriner, and I'm able to be the Easter Bunny for the children's hospitals. Specifically Shriners Children's Hospitals, you know, and then like I've said, you know, I'll open that up to St. Jude's too, because St. Jude's founded by a Mason. But really, if there's children's hospitals anywhere else, and you know, you guys celebrate Easter and that, and you really want me to come over and be the Easter Bunny for them, I mean, come on, I'm gonna want to do it. I want to make it educational. I'd really like to be able to do that for some episodes of this show. I'd love to be able to go around to the children's hospitals and have you guys with me, so to speak. And just record the whole time. See the show that I put on. And read the story out loud about the Easter Bunny. And Maybe I can find some way to tie in a couple Masonic things. That would be real nice. That would mean a lot to me. I mean, especially if I can show everyone online. Because a lot of the people I grew up with is pretty much where I talk to most of them now. So even just with my friends that I grew up with, I'd like them to see that. I know it might have sounded a little weird or looked a little weird if you've watched the episodes on the candidate guides that I've done. And I gotta finish on the third. I'm not reading cipher. Like I've said all along, if you really want to know what that is, I can't read that for you. I can't show you. It's not a secret. You can go and find out for yourself. And I hope you do. But I'll leave you with enough information to where you can chill out, stop slamming people that you know nothing about, because if you've watched the show, you'll learn about. By someone who does have a platform and is proud to be a Mason. I'm not trying to break my obligations. That's why I've even gone as far as doing videos on how to go about becoming. And why I'm doing videos on what it means to me and how much it means to me. If I can help, it's worth it. Go back a year. There wasn't much on. Now, when I got into this, I became a Mason, entered apprentice in 2014. Go back to the videos of 2014 and the content when you Google and you read text. There wasn't like anything. So now, because I'm reading some candidate's guide, and I'm also doing a whole full-on glossary of terms, which I need to pick back up onto. I'm not breaking obligations. I'm not revealing anything that people can't pick up and read for themselves. Like I said, I mean, like, I'm not going to read the ciphers. I was told that's something I cannot do. Everything else, dude, I can. But it's meant to help, not hurt. Maybe you should watch the show and find out. Sorry about all the white trashness. And beast. And really, I don't know if you're thinking I'm promoting a beast. But if you watch the show and you listen to what I'm saying, you'll find that was dumb of you. So I'll stop here. And I'll let all you guys go back and take time and watch. Please do.